Well, still on this Melchizedek priesthood, wanted to read the scripture in Hebrews chapter 8 from verse 1. It says, "Now of the things which you have spoken, this is a psalm. We have such an high priest who is set on the right hand of the throne of the majesty in heaven." This is the description of the priesthood. Is to be set on the right hand of the throne of majesty on earth. So the priesthood is thronic. A priest is a throne. There is a bit of a belief that God sits on a physical throne, because he said, "Heaven is my throne and the earth is my footstool. Where is the place of my rest?" So actually, from that scripture, we can know that heaven is actually not the appropriate throne of God. It's a priest. A priest is to become the throne. When the priest has been fully set, then God can sit on him. So the throne of God is a priest, or the Melchizedek priesthood. Now this is what he's saying here in this Hebrews chapter 1. Now the things we have said, spoken, this is, so we have such an high priest who is set on the right hand of the throne of majesty. So we can't see the majesty of God except a priest has been raised. The seat of God, where God sits on, is priesthood, not in heaven. Is a priest. And so, where do you find priest? You find that on the right hand of the majesty. Now, what it means, this right hand, we know the next to a king, they call them the right hand man of the king, where Christ is seated. Now, a priest is a man in fellowship with God. Is a right-hand man. That means God finds expression. God finds the kingdom of God and the government of God finds expression through that priesthood. Without it, God can't express his majesty. So, a priest is a throne. Is a majestic throne of God. So this is what he's saying here. And because he's a throne, he's also a minister of the sanctuary and of the tabernacle. We know that God is the tabernacle. So what he ministers or what he expresses is God. And what he expresses is the throne of God. And when we hear throne, it talks about government. How to enforce the government of God and establish it. This is priesthood. Like I said, a priest is a throne. And where God expresses himself the most is when he finds a priest. And that's why Jesus, who was a high priest, it was the fullness of the Godhead bodily. In him dwelt, it was the brightness of his glory and the express image of his person. That's a priest. It's the express image of God and the brightness of his glory. So this priesthood is to allow God find his fullness in heaven right now. The fullness of God's government has not been seen. Yes, there's governmental authority there, but the fullness is through priesthood, which Jesus died to bring man into. Verse 3 of this 8, "For every high priest is ordained to offer gifts and sacrifices. Wherefore, it is necessary that this man had somewhat also to offer. For if he were on earth, he should not be a priest." So you see, he's heavenly. They officiate from the right hand of God. They officiate from the right hand of the majesty on high. They don't live here, though they find expression here, but their abode is at the right hand of God. That's why you see all priests seated, and there are thrones there, and they have found their throne and sat down there, and from there they issue decrees and issue edicts and verdicts of the throne. And because there is no throne higher than the throne of God, every other throne comes into subjection and subjugation of the throne of God. So priesthood is government. When Jesus prayed in this, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, it's through the medium of priesthood that thing finds expression. That's the channel of God's power and God's throne. Like we see in the Old Testament typology, when they wanted to bring down the wall of Jericho. Now you understand, the wall of Jericho was crafted by a dark intelligence. They knew that nothing can penetrate this thing. No armory, no weapon can penetrate it, because they used spirits to build that wall. But you see, when they took the ark and the priest carried the ark, because it's only priest that can carry God's presence. David tried it. He used the Philistines method. He wanted to use a new car. God said no, it's only priest that can carry the ark, which is the strength of God. The very strength of God is priesthood that can carry it. So they carried that strength of God and went round Jericho. What was happening was that the power of that Levitical priesthood was bringing into subjection those spirits that were guarding the gates into that promised land. The 7th day they collapsed. We know that archaeological findings say the walls actually depressed, and the people of God were able to find access. So you see, priesthood, they are the carriers of God, the strength of God. We also see it like we said in Egypt. We saw in the wilderness how nations were conquered by just the activities of the priest and the priesthood. Is the power of God. The Bible says it's not after a carnal commandment, but after the power of an endless life. Life is not just, it's government. The life of God is government. That's how he rules. So we see, priests are the carriers of the ark of God's strength. And of course we know that Israel in the Old Testament fought with the ark. They used that, but they needed a priest to carry it. So this is why God is emphasizing priesthood. A company that will carry his power, carry his presence, carry his essence, carry his nature to the nations, and bring down the civilizations of this world. The walls that have hedged God's people out from their inheritance. We also see that time when Moses brought out the children of God from slavery 430 years. It was an impossible case. Impossible case. But overnight, judged all the gods of Israel, of Egypt, judged all their gods. And overnight, that priesthood is power, is authority. Overnight, it brought them out. And this priesthood that God has initiated by the death and the resurrection of Jesus, and the day has come, this priesthood is going to go. You will see a mass exodus of both spirits and souls and bodies from Egypt to Zion. Mass exodus. It will be almost instantaneous. There will be no time lag. You will see spirit will be born, soul will be born, body will enter resurrection, because it's resurrection power. It's the full resurrection. You will see our earthly genealogies being changed overnight, because in that trumpet of the priesthood is sound, and it's in a twinkling of an eye we shall all be changed. It's not just the rapture, it's the trumpet of the priesthood of Melchizedek priesthood. Our earthly genealogy, our father, the Bible talks about 7 years. He had no father, he had no mother, he had no descent, he had no earthly, no beginning of days. You will see a man in one night Yes, God has power. The same power that saved the spirit instantly is the same power that can save the soul instantly and resurrect the body instantly. We will see those powers of God. We haven't seen it yet. This is the power of the priesthood. I know we have preached the salvation. I agree with you, but like I said, what will happen? There will be a mass exodus of not just spirits, but souls and bodies, because it's resurrection power. The fullness of it